Hey everyone, Laurel here, Minnesota Zone 5A. Just a garden tour. It's the end of June. I'm going to start up in the front yard because this is where I worked all day yesterday. The smoke bush tree just looks fabulous this year, very full. This June has been kind of Pacific Northwest-y for us. It's just sort of like rain, humid sunshine, rain, humid sunshine. So anyway, I mulched up here. I did plant a few annuals here in the raised bed, and forgive me, it's going to storm later, so I'm trying to get this filming done now. But it is very bright. The still blooming, the campanula, that is the Rapido Blue. I have some snapdragons that I started from seed. And then the violas here, I just transplanted yesterday. Hopefully they'll pop back up. They were up in the planter that's over there around the light post. They don't last all summer, so I typically pull them out and just move them around and then hope that they self-seed, which they have done up front to some extent. So otherwise, the Russian sage here in the center is fixing to bloom. It's got buds starting to show a little bit of color. This one is the variety Crazy Blue. This is as big as it gets. This is one of the first gardens that I planted at this house. It is actually the first one that I planted in this since we moved here. 2018 was the first year that we started working on the garden. So this used to be just a big circle of landscape rock. I think many years ago there was a tree planted in here, and all the shrubs that we now have around the house and the smoke bush tree were mature when we moved in, so they had redone the landscaping. I dug out all the landscape rock. It was like river rock style from in this bed, and I left a few bigger stones just to make it a little bit more look like a rock garden. So, but I've got sedum, sempervivum, we've got campanula. I've kind of changed this around as the years have gone by. This is the biggest sempervivum, one of the oldest ones. And some of them have died off and I've replanted, and some stick around. It just depends. I did plant some dianthus here. This is like the dead spot that nothing wants to grow in. I planted many annuals. I was hoping, I have here, this is a serendipity allium, which is like a sport of the millennium allium. It's basically millennium allium with more like bluish foliage. And they also have not thrived. It's like this little corner here. So I don't know. I'm just testing out annuals for now. Maybe I'll do something else. I have 3 sedum. You can kind of see where the shade, it's like more shady towards the back of the bed, and then full sun at the front of the bed here. But this 3 sedum that I have, these are called Autumn Charm sedum. These variegated, they bloom light pink. You can see how they get different degrees of sunshine because the one in the sunny, they like get smaller as they go. The one in the sunny spot is huge and glorious. And then I have other ground cover sedum. This is a variegated sedum. I don't remember all the names. Angelina, I've talked about that one. That died off a lot this winter. It took this winter really hard. I put more violas in here, transplanted violas. Sort of a red ground cover sedum over here with bright pink blooms. And then this is Rapido Blue and Rapido White campanula kind of mixed. These were all on clearance. This is a sea thrift grass. Didn't bloom a lot this year. Some years it does great, some years it doesn't. Looks just kind of grassy texture. It's like an alpine plant. Ooh, mosquito's getting me. And it gets these little like pink bobblehead blooms. I only got a few blooms this year, but kind of cool when it's really in full bloom. Another Rapido Blue campanula. I just love the big like open flowers on these plants. They're so pretty. This sedum here I really like a lot. That is called six-sided sedum. And it just spreads like a lot of ground cover sedum. Like a chunk will break off and kind of spread in one spot. Super shallow roots, so really easy to control. But stays really petite, and right now it's blooming. It's sort of acid yellow. Same thing with the Angelina sedum is blooming, what's left of it. More of that same variegated sedum, and we're kind of back around. This one I think is the Sun Sparkler's Plum Dandy or something. This one does really well. And I planted a second one here, but it doesn't seem to like that spot. It's always stayed smaller, so go figure. And then this one, that one's also a Sunseekers. I want to say it's like Wildfire or something like that. That one, I had a few things die in that spot, but that one seems to be doing okay. So the yews are recovering nicely. They had a lot of winter kill. This winter was kind of rough on a lot of things. We didn't get like particularly record-breaking cold temperatures or anything like that. It just, we had long sustained periods of cold and little to no snow as protection for things on the ground. So I know a lot of you have told me that you've lost tons of perennials and shrubs, and I came out okay. These got really bad winter burn, this one in particular, so I did a hard cut back, and you can see I like how the new growth is all bright green on these yews. But they do need to be size controlled periodically, so I think it's a good thing. There's still a hole down in here, but now that light and air can get in, you can see like down on the inside, they're like sprouting on the inner stems too. So that keeps them looking fuller. There's sprouts coming in here because they're now thinning out like on the inner stems. So instead of having like this thin layer of green on the outside and then the inside just being all sticks, it's helpful to have them get hard cut back every now and then. This juniper here, I rarely have to do anything with that. It did get some winter burn, luckily, mostly on the back side. And then this spirea, this was also in place. I don't know what variety it is. Blooming pink. I need to cut this back harder this year. Pretty pink blooms. This one, it's not particular to any variety of spirea. I looked up that like white variegation on this foliage, and that can happen to any spirea from what I've read. I forget what it's called. It's not harmful. It's just kind of like a genetic quirk. So I think it's kind of cool. These planters are doing fabulous. I just featured these recently. We've got the Cocktail Series Vodka begonias, are the red ones. These are just bronze leaf white. I don't know if they're from a series. I got them in a mix. And then this is the Lismachia, not Waikiki Sunset, Golden Globes, I think it's called, like the award show ceremony. And then just a repeat over here of the same thing. I should flip these back and forth because one gets more sun and one gets more shade, which is how they end up kind of uneven in size. So maybe I'll rotate those back and forth. You can see this is where I've popped violas in past years, and they are reseeding. I just have to be careful in the spring not to accidentally pull them as weeds, but there are little violas down here too. And the boxwoods surprisingly had very little winter burn this year. I am not great about trimming these. I'm thinking I'll get a hedge trimmer to make the job easier in the spring. Oh, here's a big old mulch chunk there. So a few more transplanted violas. These are the Heucherella called Solar Flare, and they're starting to get more bronzy in the center. They flush out very chartreuse green, almost solid chartreuse in the spring. And then with more sun and heat, they turn more bronze. So in the fall, they're like kind of almost dark bronze foliage with just a little bit of a chartreuse edge. My microphone is flinging around. Okay, pardon me. I did battle with the grass that was in here finally and got that out. I'm sure I'll have sprouts here and there from little pieces of root that were left, but I'll just have to work on controlling those over the next few years. This Weigela is the My Monet Purple Shades. Kind of a funky shape right now. The last few years it's been in recovery. 2 winters ago we got like huge amounts of snow. One of the snowiest winters on record, 90 inches. And as you can see, there's not a lot of place to put snow. We have to keep the walkway cleared because the mailbox is on the house and just for our own access. So when it gets that high, we snow blow over, but then the snow blowing mounds get so big, trying to clear everything off, and we have to keep the sidewalk clear too. So these shrubs, these boxwood and the juniper get weighed down by snow pretty much every year. That's where the kind of the first piles go, and they just pop right back up. They don't mind. I think that's one thing that helps keep these boxwoods from being really badly winter burned some years, is they're covered in snow. This Weigela that year also got crushed, and the stems or wood on Weigela apparently is much softer. So that one got pretty much flattened out. So it's been kind of flushing back out, and I think I can probably cut some of the longer stems and give it a little bit of a shape now this year too. It will have to recover the grass on this side. You can see it's a little bare. The grass was growing into it. So now that that is gone, it will be able to fill out. What I planted here, I had some of these pansies that were in the little lamppost planter. I had two Arizona apricot Gaillardia that I grew from seed this year. I did, ooh, dang mosquitoes. I did pick up another curly fries hosta. Hopefully it doesn't get too much sun here. This is going to be kind of a test for it. By the way, Bachman's is doing a sale on different types of perennials, among them all their hostas. This is I think it's a Jack Frost Brunnera. I don't recall now. I pick things up on clearance and plant so many things I often don't remember. But that one I think I planted last year or the year before, so it's doing well. Behind that are two Heuchera. I believe those are the Onyx variety. And then I've got some variegated Solomon Seal and a Ghost Fern over here. I had two more Ghost Ferns, but the other two have basically died out. There's like one of them has a teeny little frond that survived back there behind the hydrangeas. These are little quick fire hydrangeas. These were the first things that I planted in this garden bed. This was also all landscape rock. And the garden bed essentially like went around the boxwoods and ended right in front of these hydrangeas, maybe a couple feet in front of the hydrangeas, and then just right around the front of this U over here. So I dug out part of the landscape rock, just enough to around these hydrangeas to be able to plant, and then mulch a few feet one year, and then it was a couple years later I was finally able to get the rest of the landscape rock out, and my mom helped out a lot with that too, and then mulch the whole garden bed. Let's see, I'm going to walk around here and see if we can look. I haven't even looked at these plants back here that you can just see peeking out. This is a mystery blue hosta. I think it was a variety that's supposed to be variegated. Oh, I see a walnut tree popping up. I'll have to pull that. But it was on clearance because it just turned out solid blue. It's getting nice and big now. It was kind of in the front of this bed, but it got really burned. Way too much sun. Then I have a couple of stilby back here as well. But I like to also leave enough space to walk around back there and trim and pull weeds, trim the hydrangeas in the spring. So, I guess not super interesting back there. I have a lungwort. I want to say that one's looking glass. Pretty sure. Also clearance plant. That is one of the other Astilbe. I know I bought Deutschland and Rhineland, and I had three of them. I don't remember which is the white. One is white and one is pink, so you'll have to look it up if you're interested. But it's either Deutschland or Rhineland Astilbe. This is a hardy mum that blooms kind of peachy pink light shades, starting to open now. And now I just forgot the name of that one, like the variety. And the one Dancing Queen Carex that survived, little bits of it I transplanted, just moved over. I'm not hopeful that that will last through winter. Those have not been hardy for me, but it's there, so I moved it. Behind that, we've got, just about to open, this is Pardon My Cerise Bee Balm Monarda. And then I planted a Rockin' Purple, Deep Purple Salvia, that is an annual. This pink blooming salvia is now going out of bloom, so I'll cut that back. Otherwise, it just splits open. That was a mystery plant. It was not labeled on clearance. And then we've got the Molly's White Hellebore with the variegated foliage back there, next to the Wedding Series Spanish Flare, my favorite hellebore. Behind that, we have an Island Breeze hosta, that nice variegated foliage. And behind that, a Blue Angel hosta, starting to put up huge bloom stalks. I wish I could show you how massive those leaves are. They're bigger than my head. It's hard to get scale from a video like this. This yew is the one that I have to trim often. It grows super fast and it's so huge now. This is why I think I may need to get a little hedge trimmer thing. I planted a whole bunch of my seed started snapdragons. I know I have the can orange in the back. I have like a patch of them, and then butterfly bronze with white, I think, or maybe just butterfly bronze starting to open. And then I had a couple like Potomac lavender that were real little. So I just popped them in here to see it. That one's not looking so hot. We'll see how those do. This is the silver lining Artemisia, a new one from Proven Winners. That is a perennial. I will cut off the bloom stock. I just want the blooms to open so I can see what they look like for now, and then I'll cut it back because I just want it to establish roots. But that should spread out quite a bit over time and be a nice bright ground cover in the front there. That I found on clearance at the beginning of this year. And then I had one, this is the bronze leaf red begonia. Very similar to the Proven Winners. Last year I planted the bronze leaf rose begonias, which are more of the pink blooms. And I had them right next to the Proven Winners, what are those called now? The same thing from Proven Winners, the rose, dang it. I'm completely forgetting. And in this window, or I keep calling it a window box, this lamppost planter, I could not distinguish between the two. They're identical. So I got a flat of these wholesale through my uncle. So this is where the violas were. I popped in the bronze leaf red begonia, and then I had some, this was full of creeping Jenny, but this winter was really hard on it. Only the little bits on this side of the planter survived our winter. It is hardy here, but because this is raised up, it doesn't have as much insulation as the stuff in the ground does. So I had some chunks that I overwintered and just popped them in here to kind of fill in again. And I have more in the back in the ground that I can use if needed. We got like monsoon rains. In 2 days we got about 4 inches of rain. And it poured, like rained super hard. So you can see the phlox. This is the opening act pink dot phlox. I have 2 of them here. They really flopped open quite a bit. So I may put some supports around those to hold them upright. Haven't decided yet. And then this is the lemon jade sedum. This was new in the fall. And the ground cover campanula is pretty much out of bloom. Not sure if I'll deadhead that or just let it be a ground cover. Keep the weeds down. We have 2 echinacea here, yellow echinacea. I'm wondering if they're getting mites. I have issues with mites on some of my echinacea where they eat the petals before they open. So you get deformed blooms sometimes. So I'll keep an eye on that. These were Monrovia. I got them super clearance last summer. Again, I can't remember the name of them. I'd have to look up the tag. And when you pick up so much stuff on clearance and I have to plant it in a hurry, it just doesn't stick. So I have 2 of those. And then I had annual Rudbeckia here last year, and it self-seeded. So I have a few of those coming up too, which is fun. This is Caesar's brother Iris. I have not deadheaded the seed heads yet. I kind of like them. I might leave them this year because they turn, I think I said this in my last video, they kind of turned brown and looked a little bit like cattails. I had just a few of them on there last year, and I think they look kind of cool. So I might give that a try and just see what happens. I do like that grassy, upright texture though. And then my planter here, I have a Senecio Angel Wings and a indigo, or is it called violet or indigo, Scavola, and then Dichondra Silver Falls trailing down there. This is a Amsonia String Theory from Proven Winners, now getting more of a mature size. This will take up most of this space here, which is why I've been doing annuals in this area around it, because these get pretty big when they're mature. And at the base, I have planted Americana Dark Red Geranium. I just planted those, I think, was it last weekend or the weekend before? So they're still kind of getting their sea legs here, getting their roots established. I had trouble. There's just a couple anthills in this area, so it was a little bit tough to plant and try not to disturb them too much. Behind that, we have a number of heuchera. I don't remember all the names. I know these are caramel. They are amazing performers. I have 2 of those. I'll be looking for those maybe for other areas in the back in the future, because these 2 have come back really well. Here's the other one. I also have 3 champagne heuchera here. They have done well. Also, they just stay a little more petite, but really pretty colors on that. This one, not Mardi Gras, I just named Cajun Fire heuchera here. Love the white blooms on that, light pink, white. And I got these all on clearance. Sometimes Gertons, I don't know if they just have too much stock or they're getting rid of a certain variety, but I got all of these, except for the champagne. I think I got clearance at Bachman's years before and transplanted them. But man, Gertons has some great deals sometimes if you can hit it at the right moment. This hosta, I don't remember if, I'm pretty sure it's Patriot. I picked up a Patriot and a Minuteman, and they are, I think Minuteman, one is a sport of the other, and they look very, very similar. And I have one planted in the back and one planted up here, and I never remember which one is which. So either Patriot or Minuteman. This is a blue shadow Fothergilla shrub. We got a little bit of a cloud that feels much better. It's real saucy out here, like humid. We're going to get up to the high 80s, but it's going to feel a lot hotter because the dew point is really high with the humidity. And we just keep getting more scattered storms all week, so there's no end in sight. At least I don't have to water, though. Blue shadow Fothergilla, beautiful blue color on the leaves. This is an understory shrub in the forest. It kind of grows on the edge, so it gets like dappled shade from the trees around it, so it likes this spot where it gets a good amount of shade. It gets a little sun late in the afternoon, but so far not enough to burn it, which is great. This is a coleus. What was it called again? I just had it in my mind, and now it's gone. A coleus. And I think they were on sale at Gerton's, so if they have any left, I might pick up a few more and just pop them in this spot. You can see where the downspout empties out there. Kind of washes all the mulch away, so I don't plant a lot. Plus, I need to get in here and access this yew to keep trimming it up throughout the season. But I do like to plant a few things back in there. And coleus is real thirsty, so they like that nice wet soil. And then I had 3 strawberry blonde marigolds left that I didn't have anywhere to put them, so I just popped them in that blank spot here. I don't recall, I don't even know if I have the tags for, these 2 are the same heuchera. Last year they both were huge, like that one in the back. That one did well, probably more insulated being closer to the house. This winter, this one was more exposed, so it died back all the way, so it's kind of sprouting fresh here. We've got, got a lot of holes in the grass. This is a limoncello barberry. I should really trim this back this fall, or maybe next spring. Beautiful chartreuse foliage. The new growth, when it emerges, it was brighter earlier in the year, but it gets these like red tipped edges on the leaves here. All the fresh growth, so really pretty in the springtime. For about half of the summer, most of the summer, it stays this nice chartreuse, bright green color. And then towards the fall, it kind of darkens just to like a solid green. But then it has really, really beautiful fall color, like stunning fall color late in the season before it drops its leaves. The patch of marigolds here is finally perking up. These were all self-seeded in my back garden. I have no idea what variety. It was like a giant mixed packet of seeds that we did as an activity at work last year, just for fun. Everybody got to plant some marigolds and keep them in the windowsill at the clinic, but I took mine home and popped them in my raised bed. Ooh, we've got one bloom coming. And they seeded themselves everywhere, so I dug up. They were getting too big, so I dug them up and popped them back here, and they looked like death for a week and a half, and now they're looking good. I also planted 2 ornamental cabbage that I started from seed. I've got dill back here that I planted years ago, and it self-seeds. So that's all over the place. And then I've got a couple African daisies that I also started from seeds. Those are old seeds, and they just keep coming up. And then I have, looks like we did get some rain in this bed. All of this blank space, This bed is filled with balsam seeds, like the impatiens balsamina. They're like old-fashioned impatiens, popular like 100 years ago or more. And oh, here's some sprouting up here. So I control them. They're really easy to pull. They're like these really chunky little seedlings, so super easy to pull out, shallow rooted. So I do come and control them. This year I planted along the front border. I got a flat of Victoria Blue salvia. So I have that planted. I had some extra of the Gomphrena carmine as well. I had a flat of that I ordered this year mixed in there. So I'll have kind of impatiens in the back. Once I run the soaker hose, those will really pop up and go crazy. Front line is all the Victoria Blue salvia. I also popped in a couple more Gomphrena, 3 more cabbage that I started from seed up here. Just an ornamental cabbage mix. And then this whole area is all Gomphrena and salvia. There's a Leotris that has, I guess, seeded or planted itself there against the fence. Looks like might be a white one. I had a number of Leotris back here, but only a couple are left. I think they're both white. All of this is foxglove, that's self-seed. I think they bloom the first year. There are the Dalmatian line. I had both Dalmatian peach and Dalmatian cream back here that I seed started and planted and then let the seed heads go in the hopes that it would continue to seed itself and be a patch of foxglove. And it is successful thus far. And then I've got planted some more salvia and Gomphrena here. These 2 grass are the Calamagrostis overdam grass. I love these are really beautiful grasses. They just stay nice and upright. I love the variegated foliage, and then the seed heads are so pretty too. They're almost like variegated with a little bit of pink on the tips. So I have 3 of these in the back as well. And then this purple echinacea that was clearance several years ago. I had 2 of them, but one of them died. But this one's nice and big. So this area is kind of weird because the 2 houses are super close to each other, you know, between me and my neighbor. So it gets a lot of shade throughout the day. It gets like, but then it gets a patch of sun at like the hottest part of the day. So I don't know. So far this stuff is doing well though. The dogwood really flopped quite a bit in the rain. It's still really weighed down. And these are all newer stems because I trimmed it so hard this spring. I wonder if I should just do a complete rejuvenation prune next year and cut it down to stumps and let it grow fresh. This thing grows, I mean, it's beautiful. I love it. And it grows super fast. It's kind of traumatizing to do that to a plant that you love, though, in the spring. Do a chop like that. Just chop it down to nothing. Here we've got grass mixed with, these are all wild strawberries. I think they're pretty sour. I haven't tried one, but other people have, but they're really cute. So they do send runners all over, which is kind of irritating, but if I get them early, I can just pull them up before they root in. And it stays green even when there's drought and the grass looks like crap, so I guess that's something. And lots of weeds. Weeds everywhere, always. This rain, man, it's like the weeds are growing faster than everything else this year. So I think I'll leave you with that. I'm going to do a separate tour just of the updates that I've done in the back garden. I'm really excited to see this fill in. That grass that I dug out, it was like a blue carex, and it was pretty. It was one of the kind that just gets big and takes over. So I just don't want anything that's going to completely take over up here. So I have to manage that. I got probably 8 separate large chunks out of it though, so I'm going to give all those away. There was a dianthus mixed in there that I'm also going to give away because I don't want to risk replanting any of the grass roots here. So anybody who wants grass mixed with dianthus has that option. But I usually bring it into work and give it away to coworkers. So anyway, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and please subscribe.